Latest developments with the war in Ukraine. We're joined now by political analyst Brian Sobel. Brian, always good to get you on here. Let's start with President Biden and his call with China's President Xi Jinping to make it clear that the U.S. does not want China to help Russia with its invasion of Ukraine. How do you imagine that message was received by China's president?
Through the perspectives of the Chinese, who are sitting in an interesting position, Alex. On the one hand, they're being asked by Russia to provide military assistance and funding and to make their relationship more solid. And then on the other side, watching the entire Western world line up against Russia. So China's in an interesting position here, and they kind of took a middle ground. The readouts from the American side and the Chinese side were quite different today. And so we really don't know what the Chinese takeaway was by Xi Jinping. Hopefully, the president was able to really cast this as Russia against the world, and did China really want to side with Russia in this effort that Russia's undertaken?
Yeah, and to that end, we know that after the call, the White House said that President Biden, during the phone call, laid out what could happen if China gets involved in providing any sort of support to Russia in this conflict. But of course, the White House stopped short of giving any more details. What kind of consequences could we be talking about here?
They're basically economic. And so saying to China and to Xi Jinping and his government, if you join the side of the Russians, we will economically punish you. China's got a huge economy as well, and I think at the end of the day, China is going to want to find a place to actually kind of hide here. They don't want to take the side of the Russians. They see how poorly this is played around the world, and yet to some extent they need the Russians, and the Russians need them, and they don't want to get cross-threaded with the Western world, and particularly the United States. So they're actually, Alex, in a pretty tough position here, and they're going to have to make some choices.
Yeah, well, clearly walking a very fine line right now. Moving on to another big development today, and in Russia, we watched this massive rally unfold. President Vladimir Putin appeared at this rally in Moscow today. He was there praising Russian forces as they continue bombarding cities across Ukraine, and also Putin pointing to what he said was unity among Russian troops, although we've heard a lot of reports to the contrary there. What do you think Putin was trying to signal to the world with this rally?
That he had support of that he has support of the Russian people. It was a very I was chuckling while watching it to some extent, because it looked very Trump-like. Here he is marching around the stage, telling the amassed group about history and what the Russian military is trying to do. Totally false in many regards, but just with the music and everything else going on, it kind of reminded me of some of the rallies we've seen from the former president of the United States. That said, the vast majority of the Russian people are starting to see, by all accounts, some reporting on the war, and they are going to have to take a choice as well. The people that they were able to gather here today, who knows how they were able to get them there. Right. Maybe there were many believers about what the Russian role is in Ukraine, but history will tell a different story, of course.
Yeah, and there have been some reports that some of the folks in attendance at this rally were compelled in some form or fashion to be on hand for this. We have to leave the conversation right there. Always appreciate your insight and your time. Political analyst Brian Sobel, good to see you. Have a good weekend.
My pleasure, Alex.